Good morning and welcome to the show. It's Medical Monday, and you know what that means. We have Dr. Roman Nation here in the studio to talk about your health. Welcome back to the show,
Good morning,
Dr.
sir.
Nation. You know, one by one, I'm starting to meet your staff at Nation's Best. You've got some stable of talent there. I got to tell you.
We've been developing our kind of talent structure underneath.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I like to do is recognize or work with different people and kind of recognize where their talents are. And one of the tenets that I learned of leadership in the military is if you try to pigeonhole somebody into saying this is the job I need you to do, then they'll do that job if you're in charge of them, but
Right.
they won't do the best at that job that they can do. It's much smarter from a leadership perspective to realize where their talents naturally lie and then kind of guide them in that direction and look
Maybe
at
give
it
them
through.
parameters. And
Yeah, exactly. So Stephanie, which was the last one that you met,
yeah, she was really interesting.
she did neurological pain stuff for a long time around town here, and like you learned last week, she started as a nurse and then went on to advanced practice nursing school, and then has kind of developed her talent from there. Where her real skill and desire actually lies is in the nutrition and weight loss stuff that we've done, as well as the primary care kind of thing. And
I know we've had JT on the
Yes, sir.
on the show too.
Yeah, and so he's kind of augmented all of that that whole scenario that we've been trying to develop, a wellness type thing that applies to primary care and things that a lot of times we don't get to do the way our system is built. Our medical system is designed to address problems as they come up, not prevent them before they get there.
That's right. It's easy to write a script, I suppose.
Absolutely.
Not that your job is easy, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, it's easier for the patient just to take a pill
Right.
than to be compliant and put a certain amount of effort into
Right.
their own wellness
Yeah.
to prevent all these diseases and maladies that
Yeah,
can befall
and
us.
unfortunately, the way our reimbursement system is designed, like Medicare and most commercial insurances, is they're not designed to take the extra time to keep this from happening again. It's designed to, well, you come in, you have a problem, I have a cold, my allergies have acted up, my blood pressure's up, or somebody just told me that my sugars are high and now I'm a diabetic, and instead of the vast majority of it, because we're paid, unfortunately,
to fix people, I guess.
well, where actually the reimbursement is designed more so to reimburse you writing a script rather than taking care of the patient or kind of educating them on how to take care of it themselves. And it's really kind of backwards that way, is that you would think that you would be, the insurance company would be smarter, like a car insurance company would be smarter to teach people to be safer drivers rather than just reimburse when they have an accident.
And it's funny you should use that analogy, because I've heard it said that people take better care of their cars than they do themselves.
Right.
Like you go in for that oil change, you go in for that preventive maintenance when it's in your maintenance manual. In
Yeah,
your car
they have a little
manual.
sticker on the on your
Yeah, a
windshield.
little sticker reminds you, time for an oil change.
Exactly.
But people don't necessarily do that with their bodies, do they?
Oh, no, not even close.
Yeah.
We get patients on a very regular basis of we've been taking care of women because women have kind of gotten in that preventive cycle where they have either pap smears are due or mammograms are due and those kinds of things. But the vast majority of them, specifically people in their 30s and 40s, if they don't feel like they have a problem, it kind of becomes this macho thing. It's like, oh, I haven't seen a doctor in years, but I've been having these headaches that I take 6 Tylenol a day for. Wow. And come to find out that their blood pressure's been high, or they've had cholesterol issues, or as we kind of unravel that for them, that they realize that, oh, there has been a lot of things that that I haven't been paying attention to.
How often should you see the doctor, though? I mean, you don't want to run every time you've got a little headache or something.
Exactly.
But should you have an annual checkup? Is that the bare minimum?
Yeah, it used to be the way medicine was designed back in the mid 1900s was that you had an annual physical, like once a year you went to see the doctor and you kind of listened to your heart and lungs and those kinds of things. As we've gotten better at preventive medicine and understanding the things that are useful, sticking a stethoscope on somebody's chest doesn't really prevent much at all. But what does prevent things is going in at certain intervals and checking your cholesterol. And depending on where your cholesterol and like where your metabolites are, like if you have a family history of diabetes, or if you have a family history of thyroid disorder, or if you're gaining weight, those types of things. There's a lot of folks that people chalk up to their symptoms to just getting older. The things that like I'm tired more than I used to be, I'm gaining more weight than I used to be. I've tried to eat less, but I don't lose weight like I used to.
Dr. Nation, get out of my head, will you?
Yeah, I mean, and those kinds of things. Yeah. And there's natural processes that occur with that do explain that, but it doesn't mean that that's the only. You just have to live with it. There's lots of things that you can change without adding a script or a medication and those kinds of things.
We have to run off to our local weather, but let's talk more about that preventive medicine and that wellness that you preach in your practice.
Sure.
After the local weather, brought to you by the West Pittman Law Firm, westpittmanlawfirm.com. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Dr. Roman Nation, and we're talking about health choices and how you can live well. Doc, we talked about wellness, and that you preach that,
Yes,
in your practice, and the people you surround yourselves in your practice preach that as well. Have you incorporated that personally into your lifestyle?
I do. The way work schedules tend to work, I definitely understand what a lot of folks go through is, when you have an 8 to 5 type of job, or some people it's 7 to 7 type of job, 6 days a week, and trying to make healthy eating choices in the middle of that, or exercise choices in the midst of that is very, very difficult for a lot of folks, especially if you have family to support. If you have kids that you got to go to soccer, or the evening shows or plays or other little extracurricular activities, and finding little niches in there. A lot of parents and adults just trying to take that time as downtime and sleep it off, or those kinds of things. Or when they get to the end of the day and all that's done, there's nothing left for themselves.
Now, you were in the Air Force, right? As I was back in the day.
Yes, sir.
And they encouraged that type of physical fitness. And a lot of people would say, God, who has the time?
They do.
Who's busier than an Air Force officer? Who's busier than a doctor? I mean, really.
They do, and the unfortunate thing is they could design the system to really incorporate that, to say you need to take time for this. The problem is that, specifically in the military, is that they have so many masters that they're trying to serve. Something always falls off the plate. What's it going to be? And mission readiness always comes first, which it should. And so when mission readiness comes first, the whole personal readiness on the back end of that tends to fall off the plate. And it happens in everyday life too. So,
but as a civilian, you could do a lot better job of personal readiness, can't you?
You'd think, but for the very same reason, personal employers are not much different than military leaders, in the sense that if you have more to give, then they'll ask for it, and then people will tend to try and please their masters, please their employers and their supervisors, and then take little bits away from themselves bit by bit.
But you've got to make that a priority in your life.
They do.
That personal readiness or that personal fitness, and somehow, as busy as you are, you manage to build that into your busy schedule, don't you?
We do, yeah. And really, the thing that I talk to patients about is that if you're too busy taking care of somebody else, whether it's your husband or your mother or your father with dementia, your children and those kinds of things, when something happens to you, who's going to take care of you? And just taking a tiny pause for that is going to can make a difference in saying, okay, well, maybe I don't have to do this. Maybe after I have dinner, I can go out and walk for, it doesn't have to be an hour-long, hardcore exercise in the gym type of thing. It can be as little as 10 minutes. Something to get you off of the couch, out of the house, and moving is going to make a big difference in terms of how your brain's metabolism and your cardiovascular fitness will do. As you do more of that, and you can increase the intensity, and it'll have a cumulative effect over time. One of the things that people don't realize is that not exercising 3 times a week has more destructive power to it in terms of cancer and those types of things than a lot of these controversial things we see with, like, hormone therapy. So I have females that ask me about, well, isn't estrogen therapy dangerous? Well, I was just at a seminar where the lady got up and she says, no, not really. It is less dangerous than the 20 pounds that you put on since you were 30 years old. And it's less dangerous than not exercising 3 times a week. Those 2 things alone have more effect and more risk to them in terms of developing cancer than taking hormone therapy for 20 years.
And we all tend to, as we age, we all tend to gain a little bit of weight, and we tend to get set in our ways, and it's kind of hard to reset a lifestyle sometimes when you've got, some bad habits.
Yeah. And that's what we talk to folks about, is because it's just little tiny changes here and there, and it just takes a little bit of time to talk about it and bring it to the forefront. Once you start thinking about it is how you can make changes, just like we do all these awareness things. The whole point of awareness is is to make your system start to think about it, because if you don't think about it, then it gets ignored and nothing happens with
So
it.
there's a whole psychological dimension to wellness, isn't there?
Absolutely, absolutely. Just paying attention to it is really the key part.
And paying attention to your health is what we're going to do based on your sound advice. Dr. Roman Nation, thank you so much for coming on the
Yes,
show
sir.
and getting us smart on wellness.
Thank you.
And we will be right back after your Max Biz tip from Zenobia.
Hi and good morning. Welcome back to Waking Up with Don. I'm Zenobia Andrews, your business system strategist, and I am excited to be here in the Max Out Studios bringing you your Max Biz tip for today. You know, all week long we've been talking about what are the 5 steps in maxing it out. And today's tip, we're talking about how to dream big and to create your own opportunities. You know, I'm here to share with you, my friend. I want you to take a moment, just a brief moment, and think about your business. What does it look like? Where is it located? How many employees do you have? And then see yourself making the millions and millions of dollars that I believe that you can make. I'm here to tell you that there is power. There is power in dreaming, and not watered down dreams. I mean big, unimaginable dreams. You see, I believe that once you get to dreaming big, once you realize that it's never too late to see yourself as the CEO, as the big kahuna, that's when you can start creating your opportunities in life, right? And we're not going to wait. I don't want you to wait for someone else to create you an opportunity. I want you, if you need to make some sales calls, to make the sales calls. If you need to go door to door to get those contracts, go door to door, because those opportunities are waiting for you. Nobody, my friend, nobody is going to care about your dream, your success in life, but you, okay? I'm Zenobia Andrews, your business system strategist. I am here to support you. So if you need a business coach, I am here. You can reach out to me at www.zenobiaandrews.com. I would love to connect with you on social media. You follow me, I'll follow you back. Take care and continue to press towards the max.
Welcome back to the show. I took a quick break to go change my shirt and greet Greg Jordan here from Belltone Hearing Aids. Greg, welcome to the show.
Good morning, thank you.
Yeah, you know, we were talking off camera about, you know, how hearing aids have always been technology based. Colonial times, it was the big horn, and that was how they amplified things in those days. But as technology advanced, so did the hearing aid industry, hasn't it?
That's correct. You know, over the years we've done so much with hearing aids, and just over the last couple of years things have just dramatically changed in the hearing aid industry, and predominantly with Belltone Hearing Center.
You know, I'm looking at a press release over here that Belltone has launched a Belltone First, a revolutionary hearing aid. Well, I'm thinking just about every generation of hearing aids are revolutionary. When we went from, I guess, vacuum tubes to transistors and then to microchips, but now you're hooking this up somehow with iPhones.
That's correct. Well, what makes this one revolutionary, where other ones were revolutionary, but this is more because we can directly now connect to other devices such as your iPhone, your iPad, your iPod, the television, your cell phones, whatever, we can directly connect to them now, and that's using a 2.4 gigahertz technology, which is revolutionizing the industry.
Yeah, so rather than just amplifying the ambient sound or the natural sounds around you, you could actually tune into your TV or your iPhone and just get clear as a bell reception that way.
Correct. The hearing aids now in effect become a headset. So whatever you would listen to with your headset, that's what you're doing with your hearing aids. Whether you're listening to music, Pandora Radio, your favorite music station, maybe you like to listen to an iBook where you're listening to your book via the hearing aids.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, that's incredible.
So you can listen to a book
Yes, sir.
with your hearing aid.
Mm-hmm.
That's a wonderful thing, because, you know, I think of my parents who are quite elderly. They're 87 and 88 now. And you go to their house and the TV is cranked up. I mean, the windows are shaking, it just blasts. You know, and I think they just like having noise in the house, but wouldn't it be great if they could just tune in?
Well, and that's exactly what happens now. They don't have to listen to the TV through the room. It can go directly into the hearing aids. In fact, if they want to get up and go to the bathroom, get a bite to eat, they're still listening to their hearing aid while they walk out of the room. Couldn't do that before.
Yeah, and not only would it be good for them, it would be good for us when we visit, so we're not
Well, sure, because they set the hearing aid at their level, you set the hearing aid at your level. Maybe you just want to sit and read in the room. You don't want to watch TV. Well, that's great. Turn the volume all the way down. They can turn it up.
That's
do
right.
what they want to do.
And if you have two people with hearing aids, you could actually be doing two separate activities and not bother each other.
That's absolutely correct.
One could have a phone conversation while another one watches TV.
Well, the nice thing about these new hearing instruments is that you can have a phone call and do a video phone call now. Hold the phone away from your ear, watch the person on the other end. You could do it through Skype or through other modes that the industries have.
Isn't that something?
Sure.
You know, and I look at people from my parents' generation, that greatest generation. My dad was a World War II guy, and things like that only happened in like Dick Tracy comics, you know, with the wrist phone and all that. And that's not far off, is it?
Oh, sure. We're definitely in Star Trek stuff now. We're getting there. But I want to make it clear that although these hearing aids directly connect to the iPhone or the iPad or the iPod, they also connect to other smartphone technology, so you don't have to have the iPhone to do it. We just have other devices that kind of are an intermediate step that go to the cell phone.
So any smartphone, really?
Any smartphone can do it, yes, sir.
So it doesn't have to be an iPhone or an iPad. It could be any tablet or any
Correct.
Any device
If we want to directly connect to it, then we have to have the Apple product right now. Beltone and Apple have come together to be able to do that because they're the only ones that have that 2.4 gigahertz technology right now that they can combine together. Down the road, we'll be able to directly connect to other smartphones without having the other devices to go through to get there.
You know, my wife's grandparents, her grandfather, used to have the old hearing aid built into his eyeglasses, and it was right behind his ear. And when he was watching TV, if he didn't want to hear his wife, he would flip his eyeglasses upside down. He'd sit there watching TV with his eyeglasses on upside down, so he didn't have to hear anybody.
You know, I dispensed a lot of those hearing aids in ancient times, but they were a great thing on paper, but they didn't turn out to be such a good thing in reality. Because if there was a problem with the eyes, we may have lost the hearing aids. If there was a problem with the glasses, you know, it was just tough to get them together. But now we've gone well beyond that. You know, these hearing aids have been nominated for a number of awards and have won some awards. They just recently won the Red Dot Award, which is a top electronics award in Europe.
Wow.
And it's been nominated here in the United States for the Edison Award, the National Design Award, and the Da Vinci Award, which are the top electronics awards in the United States.
That's just amazing stuff, Greg. We've got to run off to a break, but on the other side of that, maybe you can show me some of the technology that you brought with you today.
Sure.
You're watching Waking Up with Don. I'm speaking with Greg Jordan from Beltone Hearing Aids, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Greg Jordan from Beltone Hearing Center. And Greg, what have we got here?
Well, this is an iPad, and as I said, the hearing aids directly connect to an iPad, an iPod, or an iPhone. And so I'm going to show you some of what they do. Well, the first thing is we have a volume control, and when you open up your screen, this is going to be the volume control, and we can raise the volume control, and this is done directly from your device. Mm-hmm. If we want to go to some different channels, as an example, let's say you can't find your hearing aid. Well, this has got a GPS finder on it, and it's just pulled us up to this address right here.
There it is.
And so this is telling me where the hearing aid is.
Now, it looks like your right side is here, and the left is several blocks away.
Yeah, no, they're both there, just showing you. Okay. Now, but see, that's if I'm nearby, let's say I'm in the same room, and it's going to look for the hearing aids. So now it's finding the hearing aids in the room right now. So as I walk away from it, it goes down. As I get closer, it comes back.
I see.
So we can also do what we call changing memories or changing channels. So right now I'm on an all-around channel. So the hearing aids have each got two microphones in them. So there's 2 pointed to the front and 2 pointed to the back, so you're hearing all the way around you. And so that's what this first channel does, is lets us hear everything. But now I have a noise memory. Let's say I go to a restaurant. I push that. Now it just changed that in my ears. I just heard it change that because I'm wearing the hearing aids. And so we turn off the two back microphones, and the hearing aids become directional. So whatever you're looking at, that's what you're trying to hear.
Oh my!
And so so what happens is it reduces the background noise at the same time it increases the human voice. So it's able to zone in on that. And the hearing aids actually talk to each other right now. So they're connected together, so they're not individual hearing aids. And so whatever happens on one side, it tells the other side what to do. If I put a telephone up to one ear, it's going to tell the other side there's a telephone. The other side's going to reduce down by 6 decibels.
That they're smart enough
to do
that.
There's a music memory. Well, now If I want to listen to my favorite music station, it can do that. If I want to go outdoors, it just does all kinds of things. So I've got the hearing aids in, and you can look at my ears.
You know, and that's amazing. If we can get a shot of this.
You can't even see that it's in there. And I'm going to take one out, and this is what the hearing aid actually looks like.
Wow.
Little guy. This is the only thing that goes in your ear. That's the receiver or speaker of the hearing aid. So very small, practically invisible, and they pretty much do everything today.
And it's hooked up right to your iPhone or to your smartphone or whatever type of personal device that you carry.
That's correct.
That's amazing stuff. It really is. Hearing aids have sure come a long way.
Absolutely.
Since the days of the old ear horn, you know.
Come on in, let us do a hearing evaluation. It's totally free of charge. We'll see if
Yeah,
you
how do we
can
get in
work
touch
with
with you? Where are you located?
We're on 23rd Street, right next to the new McDonald's, across the street from Fridays.
Okay.
And we're there Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30.
And you'll just do a quick evaluation? And
Yes, sir.
People
Yes,
will
sir.
check you out. Now, if we wanted to look you up on the internet, I'm sure you can go to Beltone.com.
Beltone.com. Yes, sir.
That's awesome stuff. Greg Jordan, thank you so much for coming on the show. And thanks for showing this really cool technology that's improving people's lives every day.
Thank you.
You've been watching Waking Up with Don, and I'll see you next time.